Alright, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, Connor on Chain. So let's cover a bunch of stuff today. We had Bitcoin in the entire market completely nuke. We had lots of AI agents kind of have a nice reset, a major cleansing, huge dumps across the board. Obviously Bitcoin price action lately has just been very bad, in my opinion. So I want to cover a bunch of different things regarding Bitcoin, some of the majors, what can happen in the short term, medium term. Then I want to get into, like I just said, AI agents, meme coins, and then also speculating on the future of where we're going in the space right now in 2025. So let's get into a bunch of this stuff here. So let me cancel this replay. Give me 1 second. There we go. So currently with Bitcoin, we had a major push to the downside today, which already got ate up, which is, that's actually pretty good, showing signs of strength. But, I'm going to show you guys and point something out that, in my opinion, is not very bullish in this market right now. But, as far as in the short term, I just want to be frank like this. I still think we may have a little bit lower to go before we then proceed to really rip. So I could be wrong about this, but my gut has been telling me around 85K for a long time. Price action to me is still showing signs that we potentially could come down there, even with a wick like this. It's probably going to depend over the next couple of days, but we do have Donald Trump. We have the inauguration coming in a week from now. So that could be pretty bullish for the market as well. If he's going to, put a lot of those crypto laws, regulations, whatever he's got planned, putting them into place day one, I think maybe something bullish. Even though for me, I'm always looking at what is actually going to be a bullish catalyst or what is going to be a major sell the news event. But it's very hard to know, hard to tell. But I do want to point some stuff out. So, when we were back in August, September, October, I always talk about parabolas on the channel, and what ends up happening most of the time that I've noticed is, especially with Bitcoin, a lot of majors, when it comes to higher time frames, parabolas end up playing out very often. And you guys can look at some of my videos from these months. This is something that I kind of, I don't want to say predicted, because, did anyone know we were going to absolutely rip from here? I don't know. Especially, when we were very uncertain about, the presidency and what that would entail as far as what the markets would do. Obviously, it was very 50-50 at the moment. But as far as price action, what it was showing me, back then is just very much so a strength within this parabola here. But what it seems like we got right now with Bitcoin, it looks like it wants to kind of do the same thing, but to the downside. And I think we are very much so close to what is going to come. This is on a daily. It looks a lot cleaner on a 4-hour, but in my opinion, it's still not very clean because, guys, in this market, I never like to just fully go, full-blown bear mode. But, if we were going to put something like this out, as in maybe this does end up following a parabola, meaning, so this is obviously flipped, but we do have this area here where if we do have a lot of shorts, a lot of people could get liquidated, but then we also have a heavy sell area here, aka a buy area, because it's upside down. But this could end up playing out and just following through with this parabola one more leg down. That is how I personally am seeing this right now with the charts. Again, it's just, I'm bringing this up because for me personally, bro, I want to be fully allocated in this market. And I'm very heavily allocated, don't get me wrong. But it's I want to put every single dollar and know in my gut that this market is going to go so much higher based on price action today. But these charts do not show that to me. I do not have the conviction to just go all in when I it's I almost feel like we are going lower. Again, this is off a gut feeling and just what the charts are telling me. I don't have 55, different sheets of data showing me, previous history and all this, but, again, just based off what the charts are showing me, I would not be surprised to see this come down even further. And what's important is you should be allocated in the market accordingly, though. As in, you shouldn't be 100% in the market, especially when it's been going down. You could have a lot in the market, of course, but you need to be very cautious of what you're holding, because if you're holding a ton of crap coins that, one, you don't have any conviction in, that you don't believe in, that you don't even know what they are, you bought them for a couple day trade, those are going to be incredibly high risk when to try and hold, through the next few weeks, few months, right? But, because personally I am very bullish on this market, but I think we still need to see some sustained downside and then a little bit of chop before we really can run into another leg from here. I don't think, a little bounce here is just going to push this, something like this. Always could, I'm not trying to make this a, Bitcoin's going a 30K video either. But this is just what my gut has been telling me for over a month now. Even from back here. I think I might have even said on the channel I wanted to kind of short once Bitcoin came up here, but it never hit where I wanted to actually enter a short. And it just ended up dumping ahead of time. But so for the time being, I'm still heavily allocated in the market. And I think you guys should still have exposure to some really good conviction coins at the moment, because you never know what can happen. We are in the time frame of when supposed bull runs have happened in the past. So I think it's very much so important you should have at least some capital in the market. If not, you should be pretty exposed right now, understanding that there's still maybe some short-term downside. That's mainly what I'm getting at, but like I'm saying, I would not be surprised to see this have one more push to the downside in between 80K to 85K. For me, I don't think we're going lower than that for the time being before we have a nice trend reversal and another actual push to the upside. It's like I've seen some people on Twitter literally calling, for like, 70K, 70, like, dude, I don't think it's going that low. But with that being said, again, I just want to see a very clean bounce and just a nice, reversal showing signs that it's going to be bullish. Because at that point, I want to be DCing. I want to add more positions. I want to be fully exposed to this market riding this up. So that's Bitcoin. Just wanted to cover that, because I don't want you guys to, feel like the bull market's over or anything. But, you just definitely got to be aware, because it's like we are, Bitcoin, if we look at an RSI, it's very much so, it was at an area that it does not get too often. The last time it hit that was when? March of 2024. And then from there we chopped. Same thing from here. I'm not saying we're going to chop, but if we get downside and then another push, it's just, you got to be on your toes in this market, That's it. So, we had a ton of AI agents as well. Oh, I almost forgot to cover Virtual. Virtual had a great correction, and it's already looks like it's being bought up a little bit. But for me, that's still not enough to be like, okay, full port at these levels. One, when the sentiment is still down very hard. And two, we're still technically buying into a very strong downtrend. For me, I love to see a coin bounce and range before I even look to enter. So that would mean, because a lot of times when you have something dump, what it does is it will have a double bounce, a triple bounce, even sometimes a quad bounce before it finally has that push up. So yes, I still think, especially if you guys jumped in on Twitter, I even mentioned that, in between like $2.30, $2.50 is like a great zone, like a literal full port zone. Take that with a grain of salt as well too, but I still think this is going to be a great area to get in. RSI completely bottomed out when it hit this area, so I expect probably one more bounce and a little chop over the next couple days. If we see that and it kind of ranges, this was a box that I actually drew on one of my tweets, but as of right now, we're kind of just seeing it go like this. Still technically in a very sharp downtrend. This could easily come back down and go further. But, yeah, I think honestly I want to see this range bounce a little bit. Even if it comes back up, has a nice pop, and then it comes back down again. Kind of chops, breaks out, comes back in, and then runs. That's the kind of price action I want to see. Now, let me draw a little bit better. Just for example, you could always jump in, like, wherever this area is, still could be a good DCA. Throw a little bit of a position. You should not be full porting, like, a coin in one chunk at one given time, or one given point in time. It's always great to add, whether it's even 2, 3, 4, 5 different, buys at different times. But, you could add here, feeling like, be like, you could say, this kind of looks like a bottom. Then if it comes back down again, add a little bit more. Let it chop. Let it do whatever it's got to do. And then if it breaks up, let it bounce. Let it come back down if it does. And then let it go on its next leg. Anywhere in this range. Like, once it starts to bounce and range, that's your sign to know that, okay, number one, we had this major correction, which is what, I've personally been waiting for like a month now. Number two, we actually are seeing price not only just nuke, but it is now trending sideways and holding up well after a couple bounces. And now three, it's kind of, after it's been chopping, it's showing bullish strength, meaning it wants to actually start going up again. Those are the kind of things that I look for when it comes to major corrections like this to start allocating into a lot of coins. A lot of people might think I'm, could be well overdoing it, which is fine, guys. But everyone has their own strategy in this market. And I think sticking to a clear strategy with how you invest, regardless of what it is or how you operate it, is very important. But that's what I look for now when it comes to major corrections. Again, this could have been a beautiful entry. You could have just bought once, call it a day. But, it's not going to be 100% confirmed. But, this was actually a really good area to look for price because of, this kind of bullish momentum really sitting right here. But that's virtual. But I want to cover some agents, some virtual agents, a couple things on Solana, a couple other ecosystems, and a couple plays within them. Obviously with meme coins too, I've just taken some of the most brutal hits I think I've ever seen in the history of the market. It's like we even have PopCap, bro. This was wasn't this at 2 billion at one point? All the way back down at 500 million in market cap. Like, this was a clear leading meme coin. But again, I always say to everyone, what ends up coming up at some point will come down. I don't care how long it takes. Like, if this is a weekly chart, it took months, guys. For something like this to finally reverse, and it took obviously an entire sentiment shift to reverse it, to get a dip like this. But these are the kind of dips you want to bid. Like, I'm not saying to just buy PopCat, but when it comes down to it, a lot of times, bidding when sentiment shifts, when you get insane dumps and corrections, oftentimes is like, some of your best chances to get really good entries, betting on that narrative and that attention shifting back to that narrative. MLG though, same thing. Like, MLG is actually just one of the only meme coins that's been moving lately. Shout us out, our Discord. We caught this. I think I called this at some point. I don't know if it was mid-November, but this pulled a similar chart to lock in. Obviously, this pump though was very unexpected. That was huge. But MLG, is one of the most clear winners that I've seen in meme coins in a long time. But same thing. This is just very hype at the moment. But I would say, to be full porting something like this after it's already had a major pump, super high risk, guys. A lot of times you kind of want to wait for that correction again. It's going to take another few weeks. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not even trying to FUD this coin. I think this is probably one of the best meme coins going into 2025 right now. But it's just what comes up this hard at some point will come down. Unless we legitimately see an alt season in 2 weeks, then disregard what I'm saying, because everything is going to pump like crazy no matter where they're at. That's going to be the only thing that goes against what I'm saying. But same thing, you kind of want to just wait for price action to settle. It's still going up only. But again, like, meme coins are just not looking good. Even my highest conviction coin on Solana, guys. It's like, look at this chart. Like, the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen. This is at what, a 80% pullback? Or 71. Was about an 80% pullback a while ago. But same thing, at some point it's starting to look pretty good here. I don't think it's going to go much lower. Even Moo is not doing good whatsoever. Lots of meme coins are just so down right now. We even saw Vader have a huge dump, which again, same thing. This is what I warned many of you guys on my AI agent channel, or not AI agent channel, but on some of my AI agent videos, is how dangerous and quick that these coins can pump and go down. Vader had a huge rip for a while, right? But same thing, it came down just as quick. Just, because of how, some of the low liquidity, not all of them, but a lot of the agents have, it's like you can see these pull 3 to 5x, 20x's, in a matter of a few days. But again, when the sentiment flips like this is why they dump so hard, because it goes the same way. And for me, sometimes it's going to be the same exact playbook. You want to catch these when they're completely bottomed out or kind of ranging, to then ride it up again. And I'm not saying Vader is, bottomed out here. Definitely could be. But same thing, now that we've seen a very strong capitulation on it, same thing. RSI completely bottomed out on a 4-hour. It's probably going to chop range. Just don't be surprised if it comes all the way back down again to chop before it forms some bullish momentum, showing signs that it actually wants to start going back up. Like, it may do something kind of like this. It might have a huge push. It will come back down, and then it may start a real run. Things like that. But Vader, I think, is very good, but you also got to keep in mind that they actually have a 50% unstaking, almost like an unlock, coming literally in February. So that may be something to very much so pay attention to. Because a lot of people are staking for, kind of like the DAO that they're doing. But when everyone unstakes, especially if people bought the top and they unstake it and price is still very low, that a lot of people are going to be instantly selling what they have left in this coin. Whether they believe in it or not. Just be prepared for a lot of volatility going into February for Vader. But outside of that, I still think it's one of the top AI agent coins on the market right now, at least within virtuals. And same thing with Game, guys. Game is probably one of the strongest coins. Actually came down further than I wanted it to. But same thing. I think it's had a great dip. Like, this to me is an actual correction. This is what I've been waiting for. And now, again, for me, it's going to be, okay, now that we've finally seen this, the last phase in this is now just let these chop, even go back up, show signs that it wants to start going back up. Is it going to form some bullish momentum? Is it going to range within a little area, basically showing that it's not going to just continue a downtrend from here? Is it bottomed out? That's what we're paying attention to now. I'm kind of giving you guys, like, if you guys are really still bullish on AI agents, which obviously I'm making this video on them, there's no reason why I wouldn't be. I still think virtual is one of the top coins in the market right now. But something like Game, especially for a lower cap, this is probably going to be the play. I more than likely will be calling this as well in the Discord once it gets to a perfect area or an entry that I feel. But this is going to be a great infrastructure play within AI agents. Huge coin in my opinion. I'm trying to think too. So yeah, something else I do want to cover. I'm going to be dropping a very in-depth video either tomorrow or the day after, going into robotics. So if you guys saw one of my tweets today, which again, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, I do post kind of just a lot of my thoughts and information when, if I'm not on YouTube, because a lot of times I don't post on YouTube every single day like I used to. Um, yeah, but I posted this about robotics. I feel like robotics may end up being a major narrative going forward into 2025. I feel like, and the thing is, robotics is kind of within the same realm as DeepIn. Because a lot of robotics, deals with DeepIn, which is decentralized infrastructure networks, basically. All right, I'm sorry, decentralized physical infrastructure networks. That's what DeepIn stands for. And there are a handful of projects that focus on, that kind of infrastructure, but within robotics here. I just think robotics is very much so aligned with, DeepIn AI, and then obviously robotics itself as its own vertical, which, robotics does, it doesn't have its own category on CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, things like that. A lot of people aren't even thinking about robotics as even a thing that could be something within crypto. But for me and the channel here, this is what I live for. It's like I do this research to try and figure out what is going to be the next actual narrative. Where are people not focusing on? Where they potentially should be focusing? Because I'm not going to tell you to just buy the same two coins, over a year, 2 years of chop. It's like we're trying to play this market the best that we can. Because honestly, in this market right now, I think focusing on future narratives is so important. Because it's like even holding a lot of coins. If you held coins for a long time right now, in narratives that have not been hype whatsoever, it's like more than likely you are down very significantly on those. And that's just been the reality of this bull run. I think literally because of Pump Fund, because of all these platforms, and now that it's kind of a norm for projects to just launch consistently day after day. Well, not even day after day, minute after minute. Just launching, whether it's meme coins. Now, we get AI agents, which is why it's become a narrative, because people went from degenning into meme coins on Pump Fund to now they're going into AI agents because it's kind of a next level of the Pump Fund model, So for me, it's like, robotics definitely could be a narrative to focus on, and mainly, DeepIn. But I don't think every single vertical within DeepIn, is going to be this wild success. DeepIn focuses on a bunch of different aspects too. It's not just, robotics. Like I feel like robotics is a very good vertical within it. But just my thoughts with the market. So I'm gonna go fairly in depth, with a bunch of coins that are robotics based. Some of my favorite in the market. That's kind of what I wanted to cover in this video today. And also to tell you guys that I am still bullish in the market, regardless of what I'm telling you with price action, regardless of whatever's happening, guys. I still think this market has a lot more upside to go within 2025. It's just very short term. It's like I want confirmation, from the charts, from everything that I consistently look at on a daily basis. I want that full confirmation to tell me, okay, now this looks very good, like a great setup, like the market really is going to continue from here, because I don't want to just, act like everything looks good and then it, question why it's dumping, Trying to be prepared either way, either scenario. That's what I've been focusing on. But outside of that, that's what I wanted to cover. So I will be covering that a lot later this week. Again, either literally tomorrow or the day after. But outside of that, it's still sticking to conviction, guys. Even ARK is at a beautiful dip. ARK is still one of my most bullish projects on Solana. I think they're going to do very good stuff going forward with their AI agents. And still the chart looks very clean. This was actually a great entry. But same thing. It looks like it's having a great push, but do not be surprised if it comes back down. 99% of the time, you will have something to a minimum of a double, triple bounce of some sort. I'm not saying it's going to come all the way back down to 18 cents rather, but it'll probably come down, bounce, kind of look like this. Again, when a candle goes down, it's not just going to go straight down. What does it do? It goes down, has a push up, then comes back down. What does it do again? Has another push to the upside, and then it goes down again. It's going to be the same thing, both directions. It's going to chop, and if it forms that bullish momentum while it's still kind of in this range, that is going to be a great long-term buy signal. Strictly just based off charts, not even, the fundamentals behind this coin. But outside of that, that's what I wanted to cover, guys. I'm trying to be very realistic in this market. I don't want to show you guys consistently more coins. I talked about Aura the other day. I still think Aura is such a strong AI coin. I absolutely love that coin. Chart-wise, too, yeah, so it's sitting at $2, so it's kind of held up pretty well. But same thing, like Aura I think looks very good. I really like what they're building with their entire AI infrastructure. And this is something, I really want to see flourish like in the long term. They're doing spaces consistently as well on Twitter, which is really cool. But same thing, like I wouldn't be surprised if this just starts, a really clean uptrend and eventually just goes into, $3 to $4. So this I think is going to be a pretty clean AI trade if you call it, but for me it's just a good long-term hold. And the main reason why is similar to what I just said with robotics, how I think parking your capital in places where you think the market is going to go next is going to be where you can have the most confidence holding coins. Excuse me. That's how I've been feeling lately. Again, because it's like even holding a lot of older type coins, older narratives, like even RWA coins have not really held up too well. Some have, but most of them have not. Gaming coins, 95% of gaming coins still don't hold up, But it's like if you're betting on a coin that you think is, going to be almost like a next upcoming narrative, that is where you can have that conviction knowing, okay, well, it's going to chop and go down potentially, but, it's like you have that chance where if you're right, if that narrative really does take off, that is going to absolutely print, And Aura, I think, is just going to be another, almost like a future rendition of where AI agents and kind of the AI space is going to start pushing a little bit on and off. So that's why I'm really bullish on it. I love the idea of what they're building, but outside of that, guys, that's what I wanted to cover in this video. I appreciate you all watching, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks.